think $1 a gallon is realistic.
Gas prices around Central Texas have been dropping for the last 6 months.
You don't stress about gassing up as much as you did, or gassing up your employees' vehicles.
When you reach for the gas pump and it's $1.47 a gallon, you think it's a good thing, but what exactly is it doing to the Texas economy?
The Texas economy is more dependent on oil and oil production and refining into gasoline than most other states.
Brooks Wilson, an economics professor at MCC, says parts of Texas are already taking a hit.
Starting with those that produce oil, because their jobs are dependent on high prices in gasoline and oil.
Brooks says when the gas prices are low, unemployment in oil-driven communities increases, which causes people to spend less money.
That may lead to a recession in a state that's very dependent on oil production.
But when will gas prices increase?
I would guess that oil prices will stay low for longer than this summer, and perhaps for a period as long as 10 or 15 years.
But as economics says, what goes down must go up.
And we will have high prices again. Don't sell your Prius.
Madison Adams, KWTX News 10.
What it's like to have our commute delayed by a train, but what if the train tracks crossed your driveway and sometimes the train just stayed there for hours?
News 10's Madison Adams met a family who has dealt with that situation for years and joins us live with more. Madison, they're not real happy about it either, right?
They're not, Taryn Gordon. Let me tell you, we all know the saying, living on the wrong side of the tracks, but that has never been more true than for the Pershey family who lives on this side of these railroad tracks here in Riesel, Texas.
You're helpless when the train blocks your. There's nothing you can do. Your life comes to a standstill. You feel like a prisoner in your own home.
Laverna and Artie Percy have lived in this same home for more than 40 of the 65 years they've been married.
I love the peace and quietness.
But when the trains stop and block their driveway, their only way out to the road, there is not much peace to be found.
You know, you just lose it sometimes. You try to control yourself, but the longer you have to wait, the more you lose it.
On average, they say 12 trains pass by their house each day, but it's not the passing trains that are the problem.
I'm saying that it was more than 12 hours that we were blocked Father's Day.
It's the ones that stop.
Sometimes I were blocked out, sometimes we're blocked in.
A spokesman with DPS tells us there used to be a law that prohibited trains from blocking driveways for more than 15 minutes, but that law was done away with a few years ago. And now the Percys say they wish it would come back.
Laws need to be made for the train to abide by, just like I am a citizen of the United States or McLennan County. I have to abide by laws, so should the train.
For now, their only option is to call the train operator and plead their case. But after dealing with the problem for more than 40 years, they know a simple phone call doesn't always get the trains to move.
Not very likely. You don't get straight answers all the time.
Now, the Percys say besides being just simply inconvenient, they're also worried about response times in the event of an emergency if a train is stopped on these tracks. Now, DPS tells us that if that happens, they would be able to helicopter support into the Percy family. But of course, that takes time. Live in Riesel, Madison Adams, KWTX News 10.
We were wondering this year, and I think a lot of people around here were, especially when things first broke, how would ticket sales be? And there were a lot of people around town that initially said we may not be renewing our season tickets. We now are joined live by Madison Adams, who's at McLean Stadium, with more on that issue. Madison.
Well, guys, Baylor sold roughly 28,800 season tickets this year, but it's important to clarify all of those season tickets were sold before the Baylor scandal ever even took place. And even tonight, if you get on secondhand markets like StubHub, you will find hundreds of tickets available for just a few bucks a piece, which shows that some people just aren't ready to forget the scandal that rocked this university.
Breaking news we brought you first this morning. Today, the Board of Regents fired head football coach Art Briles, demoted President Ken Starr, and placed athletic director Ian McCaw on probation.
It was a scandal that made headlines.
Immediately after the things that happened in late May, there were probably 75 to 100 accounts who had decided at that point, because of the actions of that day, they did not want to renew their tickets.
So the Baylor ticket office gave the people who wanted to cancel a week to think about their decision. After that week passed, many decided to keep their tickets.
That number shrunk from whatever that initial number was down to maybe 20 people.
Ryan Garrett said the scandal changed the university, but it hasn't changed the fact that he is and always will be a Baylor alum.
We've been supporting the university well before the Art Briles era, well before a winning football team. It's important to us to continue to support the university.
He will be watching every Baylor home game this season from his seats, regardless of what happened during the offseason.
Whether I agree with all those changes, that's in the past now.
And he is not alone. Based on ticket sales, Baylor officials say seating will be limited for certain games.
The only tickets that we have available are those that are returned by the visiting team.
Which is between 15 and 2,000 tickets depending on the game, except for TCU, which is already completely sold out.
Once football season starts on Friday, that'll be a time that we can start healing. I think as long as the fans come and fill the stadium like they have in the past, we can start healing.
Now, obviously, not everyone who buys a season ticket is able to come to every single game. And even tonight, as we've been standing here, we've seen about a handful of people trying to give away their tickets just to try to fill the stands tonight. So only time will tell if that stadium tonight is filled.
Good girl.
A girl and her horse.
Here.
It's a bond 18-year-old Haley Johansson has shared since she was a kid.
I don't think I can imagine my life without horses.
And it's something that even the most tragic of circumstances could not separate. Around 7:30 in the morning on January 17th, 2012, a Lowe's delivery truck ran a stop sign hitting an Academy ISD school bus. The accident killed the school's beloved bus driver and sent 29 kids to the hospital. Haley was the most severely injured, paralyzed from the waist down.
I was there and she said, "What's going on?" And I said, "You know, you broke your back." And the next thing out of her mouth was, "Am I ever gonna ride a horse again?" And I said, "Absolutely."
Now 4 years and a lot of therapy and prayers later, Haley is defying all odds.
It's the greatest thing I've ever done because it feels like nothing can stop me.
And she's not just riding again. With the help of these braces, Haley is walking.
I'm gonna push through it and walk.
So now she gets to get in these braces and the knees lock, and she's got a biggest grin on her face because she finally gets to look you in the eye standing up.
For her mom, Harvest, Haley is an inspiration.
Every day that I watch her get out there and ride and lope and let go of the saddle horn, it's indescribable.
A girl and her horse, defying all odds, one ride and step at a time.
That's my girl. That's my girl. Absolutely no other thought goes through my head other than I knew she can do it, and we got so much more to do.
Madison Adams, KWTX News 10.